Welcome, folks, to a series of videos to clear up some of the confusions in terminology and play between fantasy sports and sports betting. Today, we're going to focus on the differences between pick'em style fantasy sports games and parlay sports bets. For discussion, we'll use PrizePicks. I'm working with them, and I know their contest the best. And many in the industry know that it's the most popular fantasy sports platform right now. PrizePicks is a fantasy sports game of skill, different from sports betting. PrizePicks participants enter contests with fixed entry fees. They select players from different teams in different games, and winners are based on the performance of those players. The federal guidelines for fantasy sports games of skill, like PrizePicks, are clearly outlined in the Safe Harbor of the Unlawful Internet Gambling Enforcement Act, which was part of the SafePort Act in 2006. This makes them, by federal definition, not a bet or a wager. Let's look at a PrizePicks entry. We select 5 players from 3 different teams in 2 different games. It costs $10. We have a good chance to win a good amount of money. It's simple to play. We use our research and our knowledge for these selections, and then we draft, watch, and win. Simple. Now let's look at a sports bet. Select a single game, select a player to not achieve a certain number of strikeouts. That's taking the under, if you will. That means that one player has the ability to determine the outcome of this wager. And people can bet as much as they want on that, creating some risk. The main reason the safe harbor in the Unlawful Internet Gambling Enforcement Act was put in place in the first place was to require multiple athletes from multiple teams in multiple real-world games, and that minimizes the chance that someone could corrupt any contest. So what we saw was that a single player can be compromised, far less likely than any fantasy sports game will be, as they'll have to compromise multiple players on multiple teams in multiple games. Almost an impossibility. Fantasy sports games have fixed entry fees, multiple players from multiple different teams in multiple games, where large wagers on single player bets are a pretty big risk. So what I am suggesting is to maximize your amount of fun and minimize your risk by playing fantasy sports. It's that simple. Have much more fun, play fantasy sports.